Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to the early access for Solasta II. As today, the end is nigh. The stars are right, and we have to go deeper, for despite clearing out half this place, we have yet to discover the Tome of Stars. Or perhaps the Tomb of Stars? Hard to say. The two do seem like they might be a bit interchangeable, considering that we also know there's a necromancer in here somewhere. But I guess we'll know soon enough. Also, tutorial on darkness. Better late than never, I suppose. Oh yeah, look at that. It's actually tacking like a lighting icon onto our cursor when we mouse over darker areas. Interesting.
I was surprised you found a way to deal peacefully with those harpies. They are dangerous, but still a part of the land.
We don't kill if we don't have to.
Good.
Yeah, and we already talked about that last time around. Pretty straightforward trade-off there. Kill the monsters for extra loot, or negotiate for better rep. I don't think we can get in there from here. Pretty sure this is gonna be a one-way. Yeah, that tracks. We clearly have to go around, open it from the other side. Which actually doesn't take us too far out of our way. It's right over here, just around these corners and past what looks to be a fairly small fight. Also gives us access to a resting area. And this, I guess, must be our boss chamber. Which I feel like really shouldn't be on our map yet, but you know it's right in front of me, so I'm not going to pretend I don't see it. So we basically got 2 guard posts and then the big boss room. Still a fair bit of fighting ahead of us, so all the more reason to go secure that rest point. And grab some loot along the way, since I assume there's something nice in that chest we glimpsed. A tutorial for traps. I can't imagine why that might have just spontaneously popped up. Oh no, a trap! I am both boggled and flabbergasted by this shocking twist. Also, perhaps bamboozled? Alright, straight shot down this hall to the guard post, then left into the resting area. We'll gauge our condition once we get there, decide whether we need a full rest or not. Yeah, and then from there we might just skip the other guard post entirely, head straight into the boss room.
I've seen sickless cities before, but this is just... Oh, it's a shame, it's all in ruins.
There we go. Guard post 1 looks pretty straightforward. Caster, crossbones, 3 specters. We've got an easy shot at the caster, so we'll go ahead and take it. Oh, come on. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. But we've still got plenty of firepower. Let's go ahead and cycle to the casters. We'll just burn it down. Yeah, we'll just full rest after. Caster out. Let's go ahead and start whittling the specters. Ooh. Pretty rough damage roll there, bud, but that's fine. They had to dash to get to us, so we've got another full round. Ooh, or not. Not sure why that one managed to get an attack off. But no harm done. Take him out. Nope. Divine Smite? Yes. Nice, nice. Crossbones? Oh, come on, man. Alright, that's fine. I mean, might take a few bumps and bruises, but the full rest basically wipes the slate. Oh, for goodness sake. But it does leave you primed for a magic missile, so... Actually. There we go. Better to go with the auto hit when they're that close to death.
Arcana Evo.
Nice, nice. Spectres get off one more swing. And we're good. Let's wrap this up. What do we have left on tap? That will do. Nicely done, Jebva. Grab everything not nailed down, then we head left. The side we killed the caster on. That's our turn signal. Ooh, exquisite amulet. Don't mind if I do. Though, I will note, I think all of our next slots are actually full at this point. Which isn't a huge deal, because most of that's with skill items, which, for the most part, we actually don't really need. So if we find any jewelry or accessories that do things other than give us skills, those are generally pretty easy swap outs. And on we go.
We should take a look at this.
More traps, sure. Glowing chest. Trapped glowing chest. With trivial vendor trash.
Look, a corpse.
What makes you think he's dead? What was he doing here?
Perhaps they were a treasure hunter. A comber, maybe.
Interesting, you'd single out this one corpse over the other like 50 we've seen since we got here. Perhaps it's because this dead man's letter is somehow plot relevant? But sure, I'll bite. Let's see what we got. Dead man's letter, written in Elvish. My beloved, it filled my heart with joy to receive your most recent lovely letter. I adored your wonderful descriptions of the quaint little harbor of Caer Cymrae and its charming surroundings. I do so wish I could sit on the docks with you, watching those colorful little fishing boats bob around in the water. It sounds so much more exotic and adorable than boring old Caer Mar. Nothing of any great interest or fun seems to happen here. It pains me to think I shall not see you again for some time as you carry out important work for the Beacon cause. But I take comfort that you are in good hands, and that this work should set your family in good stead with the court of Our Lady. Perhaps when the important work is done, you will invite me to while away the summer days with you? Remember that my heart will always be next to yours, no matter how far you are from me. Your ever-loving Luriana Brighthair. This space left intentionally blank. Okay, not gonna lie, I kind of thought that would be more plot relevant, but I guess if we really dig into it here... A quaint little harbor town. Did we ever get a name for the haunted harbor? Because that could be Caer Cymrae, which would imply that a Beacon agent was sent to investigate, which then brought them here, and obviously didn't go particularly well. Oh, you know what? I bet that would have marked the haunted harbor on our map if we hadn't already discovered it.
Wow, more rooms. It's so much bigger than I imagined. Look at the destruction. I wonder how many Sickless lived here. No idea. This place must have been huge.
I mean, the place is large and all, but I'm not really seeing much in the way of actual living spaces. Closest we've seen are like the 5 rooms around the Constellation Chamber. Oh, and there we go. There's our prize. Another necklace plus a faded diary. Let's see what this one has for us. Stay in the light. I'd never really thought about it much. Thought it was just a regular greeting, like, hello. But no, it's a warning. A warning we all forgot. I forgot. And now it's too late. I can hear them scuttling about in the darkness. My torches are the only thing keeping them at bay. And one just went out. 2 left. No point trying to escape. I'm lost in these caves. As good as dead, I am. Stay in the light. If only I'd listened. I'd heard the tales of an old smuggler's route through these caves. Heard of lost treasures. Got greedy, I did. Last torch. And now, a choice. Wait for the monsters to find me in the dark, or have the courage to leave the light myself. The last line is a sloppy scrawl. No more light. I can hear them coming. Last lap for you, Mari. Crick. Okay, I mean, not a whole lot to really go off of there. But we did get some names. Is that, No, the missing adventurer's name was Bach. Yeah, I don't know about that one. We haven't really seen any signs here that there's anything that's particularly attuned to the dark. Just generic undead. And, I mean, we're like 100 feet from a giant sun-soaked grotto. Though I suppose they wouldn't necessarily know that. Not if they were too scared to keep pushing forward. Though, I mean, clearly someone did set up camp here. So, I mean, that's signs of actual human or humanoid occupancy. I would question the campfire still running. That would imply recent occupation, but, you know, that's just a meta thing. I don't think you're really supposed to read too much into that. Doesn't stop me, though. You know, I love analyzing scenery. We'll ID our loot real quick, then see if we're going for a full. It would restore our spell slots. Poisonous Amulet. Plus 1d4 poison damage on melee. Okay. I mean, completely useless against undead, but still a pretty nice get. Certainly more exciting than proficiency and skills we already have. Plus 1 shortbow, no surprise there. And a Fiery Amulet. Plus 1d4 fire damage on melee. Which is very useful against undead. Okay, so another fantastic get. Though, now the issue is that we don't actually have that many characters that use melee. Robsfoot and Norva occasionally, but certainly not with any great frequency. Though I do feel like Norva probably does it slightly more than Rob. So we'll toss her the Poison Amulet. That feels thematically appropriate. And we'll toss the Fiery to Braun. Give his longsword slightly more oomph. And shortbow just gets set aside. As for rest, yeah, we'll go ahead and give it a rest. Reset those spell slots. I mean, honestly, we could probably coast. We're in pretty good shape. But this will reset Jebfa and give us a couple of other dailies back. In theory, this is the last fight of the alpha, so, you know, might as well go in full bore. Though we do need to reset our buffs. Oh, yeah, I mean, much like last time. Several are still running. Mage Armor, Longstrider, plus Jumnani's Ablative Shield. I'm also gonna guess Magic Weapon's still up.
Marike, Evo, Oculus.
Let me have a quick peek.
Arcana, Muto.
And that's a big yes. Bronze Sword and Rob's Javelin still conspicuously absent from the list, so we'll do one of Norva's daggers. Actually, that does make me wonder, can I double up on Spell Shield? Okay, you know, that's fair. That's fair. I'd rather have it on Jebva anyway. She's more fragile than Norva. Also, Mage Tower's Library. Huh, how did I miss you? Plus a beautiful short sword. Short sword's no big deal. Obvious +1. Which we're not keyed for anyway, so we won't worry about it. This, though, let's have a peek. Mage Tower's Library. I had imagined many things when I decided to adventure within the Badlands. I'd imagined triumphant battles, gallant companions, unseen wonders, and fame and wealth beyond imagining that could be enjoyed in a tavern with the finest ale you'd ever taste. There's a tavern, but the ale tastes like donkey's piss. I have companions who can be gallant at times, but are also often insufferable. The battles have been exciting, but somehow can also be dull or extremely perilous. Wealth and fame are yet to be seen, and yet, today we actually found something wondrous. We delved down into a cave, dealing with more monsters along the way, and then a puzzle that Raziel, our mage and bookworm, made short work on. The puzzle opened a door, and when we stepped through the door, we came across something truly magical. To call it a mere library doesn't truly encapsulate it. It was a magical wonder, glistening in serene, arcane blue light, with walkways floating in midair and books lined up against the walls far up as the eye could see. I've never been that bookish, and even I just wanted to spend lifetimes in that tower, seeing what sort of ballads and tales might have ended up getting stored in there. You could imagine how a book elf like Raziel thought about it. But Perciva, the cold taskmaster she is, had to dim the mood and push us along since we can't be here all day. I do plan to return someday, even to just have more of a peek than we got. Serrania de Bergerac. Interesting. Not sure how that's relevant to what we're currently doing. Though we are here looking for a book, so I mean there might be some tentative link there. Really, though, it does feel more like a nod toward some of the content from Solasta I. There were a couple of locations in the original campaign that do feel like they might match up with this particular imagery. Even proximity, I suppose it's also possible that was part of the elf's party, or the other guy. But that might be a bit of a stretch. There's no other evidence really kind of pointing that way. That said, let's go deal with this necromancer. We haven't had too much trouble thus far, but he is still raising some concerns. I mean, I suppose there is the off chance we might be able to negotiate. But given the state they left the Haunted Harbor in, and the fact that they're here for the exact same book we are, I can't really imagine that working out. Not loving these holes.
Aaron, protect us. Ugh, what is that stench?
More undead.
Ugh, please, no.
Yeah, we know this guy's been stockpiling corpses, so I'm gonna guess they're stored in those, like, drainage tunnels or whatever. Those will likely double as reinforcement spawners, akin to the basilisk fight. Okay. Oh, interesting. It is not registering as hostile. Though it is marked as hostile on the map. They use different colors depending on their current disposition. Let's have a quick peek at this. Oh, Or not. The deeds of Lady Anabasia, apparently not yet written. Which is fine. We'll just stay focused. I mean, we could just, like, walk right up to this guy and see if it triggers a cutscene, but let's maybe do a little more scouting first. We'll head up this way. Kind of circle around, see if we can get eyes on the soul collar. Looks like we can drop down here. Oh, okay, well, yep.
How did I miss that?
You know what? I can live with that. Like I said, odds are things wouldn't work out anyway. And it does seem like they were hostile on sight, regardless. Ooh, ow. That's not great, but it is surmountable. Let's go ahead and pin this guy down. Nice. And burn down the mage. We also have another knight coming in off right.
Arcana, Evo.
Slight reposition.
Arcana, Evo. Malmis.
Mage out. 2 crossbones behind. But we'll worry about them momentarily. Okay, I'm not sure what you were actually doing there, but I guess that's fine. Gives us time to deal with this, to thin them out a bit before the rest roll in.
Nayoka Evo. Malmis.
Shoot. 1 short. Alright, well, it gets it most of the way there. We'll have someone else tap it once we get the chance. Which will not be Rob's foot. Rob's foot is hanging back here for the moment. Second caster en route. Sathina, give yourself a hand. And hold this guy. Nice. Oh. Where are you going? Wow. Okay. Ooh. Interesting, interesting. They definitely seem to have a preferred target, which I guess does make sense. She is a paladin. That's kind of the antithesis of the undead. Though not great for her, because she is nowhere near as durable as Braun. Let's go ahead and knock this guy out before he becomes a problem. Done and done. No line of sight for a follow-up, but that's fine. It would have just been an extra 1d4. Wraith Soul Caller right around the corner, but we need to save Sathina. And I think we've got Oh gosh, yeah, well, we'll have to make time even if we don't have it. Because otherwise she is about to drop. Let's get in there. Nice. Night 1 at about a fifth. Night 2 just under half.
Arcana, Evo,
Burn him down.
Malmis!
Light. Last.
Off. Just shy on crossbones too. Huh. Oh, where are you going? Weird. Okay.
Nayoka, Evo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish, but it gives us more time to,
Nayoka, Evo.
finish these guys off.
Malmis.
Thank you, Jemfa. All right, hang tight. We gotcha. Soul Collar just off left, doing something. Focus down the night. Done. I guess. Yeah, hold where you are. No, see if you can kite him in. Knight incoming. Go ahead and block off that ledge. He'll have to go around.
Arcana, Evo,
Crossbone's too far.
Malmis!
It's fine. Gives us a jump on the Soul Collar.
Maraike, Abio,
We'll get Sethina next round. What are you trying to do? I do not understand what's happening there. I mean, I have to assume it's pathfinding issues. The first 2 rounds, though, it did a little animation mid-movement that implied it was trying to interact with things. I would assume trying to summon reinforcements.
Nayoka, Evo.
But whatever it's supposed to be doing, it clearly is not.
Malmis.
I mean, as always, it is an alpha, and we are getting to fight some folks at least. Even if their boss seems confused Yeah, I mean, honestly, even if we were summoning people, we'd probably still be mulching through them pretty quick. I do think, though, you know, based on the fact that they weren't, like, properly hostile when we first came in, we couldn't ambush them. I do kind of get the impression that there was supposed to be a cutscene of some sort. And the fact that we somehow bypassed that has sort of thrown the whole fight off kilter. And, you know, for what it's worth, they did almost take down Sathina. Nice, nice.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis! Marike, Abio, Pure!
Yeah, see, like, he's clearly trying to do something there. Yeah, so, like, clearly, I feel like he's supposed to be basically doing the same thing we saw back at the roadside cairns or the haunted harbor, you know.
Nayoka, Evo,
Tossing new units at us every round or two, whilst we fight our way to him. But instead, he is just ghosting us. So yeah, I guess we'll just kill him and see what happens next. We're almost done. Lovely. Night, night.
Arcana, Evo. Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
So now what? Hey, you finally decided to join us with a crit fumble. Man, that's rough. That's rough, buddy. Alright, well, bring around the soul collar.
Arcana, Evo, Malvis!
Dude. I don't know what to say, man.
Nayorka, Evo, Malvis!
You tried. You tried. But we had you dead to rights. Very nice. I mean, I wish we'd gotten the full fight as intended, but we still got some fighting in. And really, I don't think a few ads would have changed things all that much. Especially not with the way that poor guy was rolling there towards the end. Fumbling around in the dark. Right? There you go, bud. Honestly, probably not even really worth picking all this stuff up, considering we're right near the end, but you know, old habits die hard. Also, I suppose there is always the chance that, in theory, these saves might still be good once they update the alpha, as unlikely as that might be. I do feel like they're making enough structural changes it'll probably invalidate them, but you never know. Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty safe to say that didn't play out quite as it was meant to. Oh, and there's our prize. Magnificent wand. And another power stone.
Another power stone.
Maybe it'll fit the slot we found.
Think it'll open another door?
Sure, why not?
I mean, I don't think we found any other slots. We just had the one back in the main hall. Were there 2 power slots? If there were, I don't recall that. But it is very clearly pointing us right back to where the first one went, so maybe we have to swap them out, or maybe there is a second one there and I just forgot. We'll find out momentarily. Let's just see what else we've got here. Mostly just vendor trash from the looks of it. Hoping we could find some sort of lore item, shed some more light on the lore of the haunted harbor. Like this? Or not. Yeah, okay, so that's just
I
another
didn't sign up for this.
lore object that hasn't actually been written yet. So we're definitely buttoned up right against the end here. Oh, another one. Since, I mean, I do think that stuff is likely to be important to the plot long term. It's just not relevant to whatever... Not really relevant to what we're doing right now. Let's ID this swand. Wand of Magic Missiles. Okay, that's fun. 7 charges, recharges 1d6 plus 1 per day. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly pretty fantastic. Since, as we've seen, Magic Missile is one of the most basic staples of our arsenal. We will absolutely take it. Hands down, the best item we found yet. Oh, interesting. I would have guessed that would go in the spell focus slot. I thought wands were considered spell foci now. Not that we really get much use out of those daggers anyway, so we'll go ahead and swap them out, but still slightly surprising. Also getting some weirdness with the stacking on our explosive pearls, but not a big deal. That's fine. Let's go get stoned. We'll go through that side door we haven't unlocked. Yeah, like, I mean, these really felt like they were supposed to be spawning pits or something. Though, I called them drainage tunnels before. I don't think that's what they are. I think they're actually ventilation tunnels. Since, obviously, you've also got the ones up top, the ones high up on the walls. Because, like, I could definitely see, you know, you confront the boss, you're fighting him. Waves of additional weak skelemen are all spawning in those holes, rushing down the hallways to keep the pressure on. And then once the big guy drops, they all drop too, since obviously he's a load-bearing boss. As a dungeon master, you know, I look at the setup, and that's the first thing that springs to mind. But I am curious if anyone... +1 great axe. If anyone's seen how that fight is supposed to play out, I'd love to know. But for now, we push on.
Look at that rock blocking the doorway.
Oh yeah, that was the door we couldn't open.
Great. If we push the rock aside, we've got a shortcut.
I am not convinced we couldn't just push that over from the other side.
It was good that we ended the evil corrupting this place.
You mean the Wraith?
Yes. The land thanks you for this cleansing.
No problem. I literally had no choice. Though I do feel like I was supposed to. Oh yeah, and look at that. The slot is empty.
Again?
I'm sure I can figure it out.
As always, you've got all the answers.
Never mind.
I mean, yeah, we can figure it out. It's super easy, barely an inconvenience. All we have to do is look to the stars. There we go. Okay, so 1 and 2 on center. 2 on left. So 2, 1, 2. 1. 2, 1, 2, 1. Right. Let's go ahead and get our guys in place. 2, 1, 2, 1. Ah, okay. Thus, solving the mystery of the inaccessible chest. Fair enough. Which I assume is our Tome of Stars. Oh, okay. So not a conventional book. Interesting.
I guess this is it.
Garud's beard. The tome. It really exists.
Looks like the amboleth we found on the bandits.
Oh, it's so much more than just a map. Its contents are priceless.
You look stunned. Is it really that important?
You have no idea. All the sacrifices made to get us here. To know it wasn't a fool's errand.
So, what is it?
The Tome of Stars. It contains the long-lost secrets of the Aether Nexus.
What does that have to do with stars?
Where do I start? Once Tangri gets this, he might be able to explain.
Well, that's better than nothing, I suppose.
Yeah, it is actually nice to get at least the slightest bit of information as to why we just did all this. The Aether Nexus, we know, is like a point of power that Shadwin is apparently interested in, which also does tie to the original demo we did as well.
Also, we have a few questions.
Thanks. We won't bother you anymore.
You did well with the creature, without violence. It does you credit.
Thanks, but I was actually kind of hoping I could report the fact that we killed the undead to her or the Etten outside. But apparently not, which does feel like a bit of an oversight, but again, we are coming up on the end of the alpha. Obviously, we're starting to bump up against some of the edges, I suppose. So maybe once the game's further along. It also feels like they should have maybe participated in that final fight, if it had fired properly. You know, if he's calling in infinite reinforcements, it would have been fun to also see our erstwhile allies out here also tagging in.
Okay, you're tough.
Yeah, we won't even worry about the Etten. We'll just head out. Take this thing back to Tangri. Get our final plot points. Then fade to black. Assuming it even lets us get that far.
I can't stop thinking about Jade.
There was nothing you could do.
Finding what we're looking for will honor her sacrifice.
I mean, we don't know she's dead, but... yeah, that's something else I would have really liked to resolve, if we had been able to. Sadly, I hear that even if you do pass the skill checks when you rummage through the bandits' belongings, it will point you towards a place she might be, but apparently the location's just not, like, finished yet. You go there, you fight some bandits, and then nothing happens. So again, you know, beyond the scope of the current alpha. Which does, I suppose, mean that poor Giemza here is doomed to be somewhat jaded. At least for now. Leaving the Sickless Temple behind, you become unusually tired, stopping for a rest in the heart of the forest. The night is calm and you take the time to enjoy a hearty meal, with everyone pitching in, some more willingly than others. You notice Giemza begin to relax. How far away the woes of Kaer Mar seem. Yet in the dancing shadows of the campfire, a specter of sorrow lurks in the gnome's eyes. She's clearly thinking of Jade. Then, looking over at you all, that bitter shade recedes. Meanwhile, Sathina scrubs and oils her armor as she talks of the day's events, eyes flashing with fierce pride. The paladin is used to forging a hard path, but even she needs a break. I don't know, I don't like the fact that you're forcing us to rest. Having enjoyed a delicious meal, its fragrant aroma erasing the stench of the Etten's lair, Sathina and Giemza tell you they are leaving to visit a passing Ka'um tribe whose songs have reached their ears. As your new friends depart, they thank you for helping find the Tome of Stars. and add that they will meet you at the Thomish camp. Shortly thereafter, you decide to go to sleep. Okay, we're getting a little silly here. Also, Braun? But, that's, yeah, okay, that's probably fine. Just, you know, don't lose your head. So now we get ambushed, right? Relaxing muscles strained by recent battles, the embers of the campfire glow quietly, bathing the camp in comforting warmth. A creak in the dark, a scratching sound, a bestial growl. Barely grasping what's happening at first, you discern the shapes of imposing brutes looming out of the shadows, rushing into your makeshift camp. Oh man, do we have, what were they called? Sorax? Do we finally have Sorax tagging in? Because that is what it looks like. Assuming those are Sorax? Oh no, Terror Birds. Okay, well, I guess not. I have been waiting for them to get looped back in, since obviously that was a huge part of the original campaign. The invading army of other dimensional Sorax, shape-shifting lizard men from beyond the stars. The first campaign ended with us essentially slaying their god, and thus seemingly bringing an end to their invasion. Or something to that effect. But, you know, I have to imagine there's still at least a few kicking about. Perhaps hoping to claim the Aether Nexus for themselves? To open another portal back to their world, to resume the invasion? Or just to go home? Not, I suppose, that Solasta II really needs yet another overarching narrative. We've already got like 6. But that would be a pretty nice nod back to the original campaign, which I do feel like is something this game is kind of missing. You know, they make a few nods here and there, but it almost feels like its own entirely separate world. Anyway, let's go ahead and take these guys out, see what comes next. Really hoping we didn't just get double-crossed. That whole event felt pretty heavy-handed. Our sudden wave of weariness, Jempha and Sathina's abrupt exit immediately before the ambush. Really does kind of smack of a setup. Though again, if we're working the Sorak angles, that does open some interesting opportunities there. You know, who's to say that the Sathina we were just traveling with was the same one we originally met? Which also could actually, in retrospect, also explain why she was so reluctant to give us any actual information.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
It was actually Jempha who finally told us what the tome is for. And she's been traveling with us the whole time, so I mean, there's never really been a chance for her to be body snatched. Some interesting possibilities there. I mean, obviously I'm probably overthinking it, but, you know, still. I like the fact that there's enough for me to at least start speculating on. Which also goes to show that I am starting to get invested in the story. Bit of a slow start, you know, really kind of jumbled those first 6 or 8 episodes, but things are starting to kind of all sort of slot together. Actually, come to think of it, maybe that is... I don't think it's really been brought up much in the alpha, in Solasta II. But maybe that's what Marike's secret mission is all about. back in the first game, it was actually established that humans were not native to this world. They fled from another world that had been overrun with Sorax and brought their gods with them, including Moraike. So that does make me wonder if Moraike's also got kind of a similar idea to use the Aether Nexus to open a portal back to their original world in hopes of perhaps retaking it. There's a lot of potentially interesting directions they could take this in, so, you know, I'm very curious to see what they end up going with. Yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Let me just mop these last couple guys up and see what happens next.
Only the last blow matters.
Where are you going? Nice.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
Goodbye. Brawn blocks the Beastmaster. Yeah, these guys are all using poison, too. The Sorax loved poison. I mean, obviously not conclusive, but it does feel like a clue.
I won't forget this.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
Beastmaster out. Which just leaves you. Is what I'd say if a bunch of terror birds hadn't just filled out the timeline. Okay, well, I guess we're not done. Fair enough, I suppose. We know we can mulch these guys pretty quickly. Ow. Alright, let's go deal with our arch foe. Nice tag. Hold the flank. Yeah, we've got 3 on right, 2 on left. Plus the hunter, of course, but he's about to drop.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
Nice. Yeah. Jumnani and Rob hold left. Keep those two at bay whilst we whittle down the ones ahead. No, Norva, why? Hunter out, nice. Just stay right there. Nice. Oh, goodness. Yeah, just keep whittling.
Arcana, Evo, Malmis!
Flock them down one by one. Oh, man. Okay, you know what? This is actually getting slightly out of hand.
Ah, mother's little orphans. You finally found your way around Neokos.
End of early access. Well met, adventurer. You have reached the end of the current early access version. Your adventure is over for now, but we hope you enjoyed a taste of what's to come. We plan to do several large updates over the coming months, so make sure you keep an eye out for new content in the near future. We'd also be delighted to hear about what you think. Head to our website to send us feedback and suggestions, or join the other players on our official Discord server to share your story. Stay in the light, friend. I will indeed, though I've already beaten you to all that other stuff. And I will note, they've already started rolling out some pretty notable content patches, perhaps the biggest being the cosmetic upgrade. You know, they redid the whole character generation system for the appearance and such. One of the biggest points of initial fan contention. And I do believe it's already been pretty vastly improved, though obviously too late for our particular run since I'd already designed my characters beforehand, using an early press build. Then they've got the crafting update right around the corner as well. Another month or two out, I think. As well as another level cap hike. But, you know, honestly, Alpha Jank aside, I feel like there are some pretty huge improvements in this game over what we saw back in Solasta 1 or the various DLC, you know, some of which I had to actually pause because they were so janky at launch. Hopefully they'll get everything smoothed out before this game actually hits launch. You know, there are several points I've criticized. I try not to be too negative, but I also try not to be disingenuous about things I do take issue with. I'm forgiving for a certain degree of jank because obviously, as I've said many times, this is an inherently unfinished alpha. Thus why I didn't really kick up a fuss about the janky character appearance system, etc. I knew that was stuff that they'd be working on later down the line. But the narrative, you really gotta double down on that. If you want your game to focus on a cinematic narrative, it really needs to be more seamless. It needs to fit together better. And, you know, ideally, you'd also still like to give your players some semblance of player agency, which I will say I didn't always feel like I had, considering how often we got hammered with plot railroading. That whole getting weary and deciding to take a break right outside the Sickless Temple, for example, even though we were less than a day's walk back to the Thomish camp. If you want the player to have to rest, just put those two locations further apart. But, you know, that's only the latest example of them kind of prodding us along a pre-planned linear storyline. Which can also be good, I'm not saying they can't, but, you know, it does strike kind of a weird dichotomy, because on the one hand, you're letting the player make a custom party of adventurers, giving them the idea that they have at least some degree of agency, but then you've also tossed them into a story that forces them to walk down very specific, narrow lines. But, you know, obviously, way too early to really pass final judgment. So we'll see how it turns out. Generally speaking, I do feel like there's more good than bad. You know, I'm certainly not really legitimately complaining about anything. I have some concerns, but hopefully they'll be addressed. And I had enough fun that I saw the whole thing through. You know, generally speaking, I won't keep playing something if I am not enjoying it, at least to some degree. But, you know, of course, that's just me. Individual mileage may vary, so as always, I'd love to hear what you guys might think. And of course, if you decide that it looked intriguing enough you'd like to check it out yourself, the game is currently available in early access, with, as they stated, many more updates planned until the loosely planned launch sometime next year. Also, side note, I will say, I was actually really pleased with how our party ended up playing. I thought it was a bit unorthodox to go in with no real dedicated healer, no cleric, no paladins. Kinda worked out. I don't think we ever really struggled all that much. Though, I mean, to a certain extent, you could also say that's just because 5th edition tends to be a bit more inherently forgiving than 1st through 3rd. As an old school DM, the whole short rest, long rest system does feel pretty goofy, but, you know, that's, again, me. And individual mileage may vary, especially depending on what edition you happen to grow up with. In my case, AD&D. Anyway, our story ends here for now, but as I said, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below, and let me know if this is a game that you might like to see me revisit later down the line, either once the alpha's further along, or perhaps at full launch. And who knows, if enough folks want to see it, then perhaps I'll see you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Sure, why not?